What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer.
And this is the creator and talk show host of Let's Talk Ladies Football, Kate Alverson, and welcome to Let's Talk College Football.
Yeah!
Baby.
Woo! I'm so interested in seeing what him and Quinn Ewers do this year. There's been so much hype.
We have a pretty dangerous running back in Blake Corum.
Maryland's got Talia Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
A little too backyard football in school.
Yeah, buddy. Football is back, ladies and gentlemen. And as my amazing co-host said, welcome to Let's Talk College Football.
Woo-woo!
Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. The day has finally come. Christmas morning is here. Week 0 of college football is upon us. I am so excited. Kate, how are you feeling today?
This is better than Christmas. I'm sorry, but college football is one of my absolute favorite things in the whole wide world.
Absolutely.
And I will plant my butt on the couch from the noon game to the 10:30 p.m. game and watch it all day long.
Absolutely.
And if I can have it on multiple screens so I can watch multiple games, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's nothing more I want to do on a Saturday than watch football.
I plan on doing a whole bunch of that. Computer, phone, TV, and my compromise is that I'll do some folding and some cleaning while I do it. So that's fine. As long as I got my games on, we're good to go. Good to go.
You don't even know the amount of housework I can get done during a stressful football game.
Let's go. Oh, look. Cat. Shout out to Cat. You sound like Sean. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And look, I know you see there is an empty square there. There's somebody that's not there. We have to shout out our good friend and one of the members and hosts of this show, Mr. Alex Loosemore. We want to wish him a speedy recovery dealing with COVID. You know, he got a couple days ago, but he is getting back. We told him to rest. We'll take care of things, but you better believe he is sitting in front of his TV, getting ready, just like we all are, man. So we miss you. We miss you, buddy. We're gonna hold down the fort. He'll definitely be back with us next week to rep that maize and blue. We know how they do. But listen, like I said, if we're in the Let's Talk Football family, look, there's always, as they say about a ram in the bush, there's always somebody that we can call. And we actually got somebody here that already talks college football. One of the hosts of This Week in the SEC, our dear friend of the show, Mr. Collin P from the DMV. What up, Collin?
Hey, what's up, guys? Appreciate you for having me, man. You guys are all hyped up. I feel it.
Let's go. I mean, you should be hyped up too, my man. The title defense starts next week.
Oh yeah. I'm ready. Hey, I'm ready for that first game. I'm ready to see what we're looking like against Oregon, man. Especially going against our former defensive coordinator. You know, and as a head coach, I'm interested to see that. And plus, all these games today, it's going to be awesome just watching football back on the television, man. Seeing that green grass and these guys just killing it.
Absolutely love it. Cannot wait. This has been one of the days that I've been anticipating. Look, Ash, what's up, Ash? Sean always comes with the energy. You already know what it is. Yes. So, hey, Collin, we appreciate you being here. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a number of people that are going to come on. Nicholas Rosario is going to come on a little bit later and talk about give us a little team spotlight on his Northern Illinois Huskies. Yeah, buddy. And we're definitely also going to have Collin's co-host, Mr. Anthony Handy. Hopefully, I don't know if he's awake. I sent him a text and see if he can hop on here, talk a little SEC. I know you got Vanderbilt playing tonight, which might be the very basement of the SEC, but they're still SEC. We can still talk.
I was surprised they were playing. I was surprised those SEC team actually playing in the week 0, but hey,
But we remember what Anthony always tells us. It's all about the GPA.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely right. Yep.
Hey, I like what Clark Lee's doing over there, but we will definitely get into that a little bit later. But we have to start. Before we do, and this is not on the script, I apologize for going off script, but our dear, amazing, strong, talented, beautiful co-host, Miss Kate Alverson, shared something with us before the show. This is the 4-year anniversary of something, Kate, isn't it?
Yeah. 4 years ago today, I had cancer evicted from my body.
Let's go.
It was eviction day 4 years ago, and I've been in remission ever since. 1 more year, I will be in full remission from cancer. It did not kick my butt. I kicked its butt.
There we go.
So I'm here, and God had a purpose and a plan for me to be a part of Let's Talk Football and this family, and I'm just blessed to be in the presence of these two gentlemen today.
You already know. You already know. And we love you, Kate. And we are so glad that you are here to talk trash and wear your Michigan. We know what it is.
Hey, do you know what I say? Without maize and blue, there'd be no MSU.
Oh, my goodness. Bang shots have been fired on the first weekend of football. But hey, I would expect no less. College football is back. We have all talked about our excitement. Kate, I'm going to come to you first. What you and I were talking last night. You and I were up first thing this morning.
Yep.
Tell me, what is it about today? What is it about what today brings?
Oh, it brings the joy of college football being back and watching these tremendous college athletes on that field, grinding it out, going for the victory, going for the postseason, getting in those rankings, the top 25, the shifts, the upsets, just the whole thing. It's better than Christmas for me. I love college football.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing better. I know I do my football show for the ladies with NFL, but my heart belongs to college football first.
Oh, yeah.
It's where it is. It's where it's at.
Now we have to shout out your show, Let's Talk Football Ladies Takeover, Thursday nights at 7:30 Eastern. And one of your co-hosts was an amazing thing to say. Amazing, Kate. You're such a strong, beautiful woman. And I'm so lucky to be a co-host with you on show is such an amazing woman. I love that.
I'm not supposed to be crying on college football day.
Right. We're supposed to wait.
I love you.
We're supposed to wait for Michigan State to beat you before you cry.
Okay, coming to the big house this season.
Go Green!
Talk is gonna get tucked under at the big house this
Let's
year.
go. Yo, Andrew Faubert in the comments. What's good? Hashtag Go Gators. Uh-oh. Bang, bang.
Collin.
Shots fired. Let's go. Heck yeah.
Oh, man.
Sean, you ruined a great moment. Okay, we got to move on. Ladies and gentlemen, you are here to talk football. We are so glad you're here with us. And I got to come down to my guy right here because last year, and we know you knocked off our dear friend in the CFP in the first game, and it ended up to beat the team that you guys just despise, Alabama. You got the title after 41 years. Coming into this year, you're sitting on your throne. Collin, talk to me from a Georgia fan's perspective. How are you feeling? Is there a little nerves, anxiety, or you just want to get it started?
Man, just getting that one championship off our backs after 41 years. I mean, you see all these fan videos that are posted on YouTube, Facebook, whatever. I can attest that was me in my living room when I got that interception was thrown. I mean, Kirby, that picture of Kirby jumping up. I mean, I probably jumped higher, which in reality probably jumped like this high, but it felt like I jumped 10 feet. I was all over it. Buddy of mine was here. And I mean, it was just the emotion was real, right? The emotion was absolutely authentic. And I mean, I'll neither confirm nor deny I had a tear in my eye. You know, it was
I would.
It was one of them things. But now going to this year,
that.
everybody's talking that we got, maybe take a step back, which I don't take any offense to that. Of course we should. We lost 15 players to the draft. We should take some sort of step back, but I don't think it's going to be big of a step or such a huge step that it's going to, inhibit us. And, I think we're going to run the table, to be honest with you. I'm not saying that as a fan. I think we're going to run the table. That's just what I'm saying.
You heard it here first, ladies
and
gentlemen.
Prediction from this Collin P from this DMV.
Back to back. Somebody said back to back. Okay, we're gonna see.
On top of that, everybody was giving Stetson Bennett a little bit of grief about him being a walk on and an old man playing. I think he's actually going to improve this year. I think he's going to show up, to be honest with you. So,
okay,
I've got a lot of bold predictions, but I mean, and it's not a Homer fan prediction. It's just I think that's what's going to happen. So,
see this.
But then again,
talking about, man.
Your coach.
Then again, I think Alabama's got
great stuff.
Yeah, I think Alabama's got an axe to grind. To be honest with you, they're coming out hot. So I mean, they're going to run the table too. I think we're both going to be undefeated.
Oh yeah, they're going to come out. They're going to come out firing. You already know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we know the type of talent that they have. But again, it's going to come down to what y'all can do in the SEC. But that's what I want. I want you to come on the show and be excited about your boys.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Kate's excited over here. Hey,
bro,
you know what this is. You know what this is.
I have a feeling my team can run the table too this season.
Oh, yeah. I have a feeling my team can run the table in college basketball. Being clear, ladies and gentlemen, in college basketball.
You just had to skip ahead, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we starting early, too. Let's go. But look, hey, like we said, we are starting early. The day games start in less than 2 hours. In less than 2 hours at noon, we're going to dive into them, give you a little feedback on some of these games, talking about it, and I'm going to go over them real quick. Western Kentucky versus Austin P is the noon game, the very start in Dublin. Nebraska plays Northwestern, game that everybody's really excited to see. UNLV plays Idaho State at 3:30. UConn and Utah State at 4. Wyoming and Illinois also at 4, and Duquesne and Florida State at 5. And we do have somebody special that I definitely want to bring in here at some point to talk about his team and if they might storm the field because they're barely favored over Duquesne. But we'll talk about that. My God, Mr. Ben Cornett. But look, we're going to dive into it, and we're going to start with that first game, Western Kentucky versus Austin P. Western Kentucky, led by Tyson Helton, the fourth-year coach, went 9-5 a year ago, won 8 of their last 9 games, and went to the Conference USA title berth. They ended up beating App State in the Boca Raton Bowl. We know about their quarterback, Bailey Zappi. He's going on. He's played with the Patriots. Guy threw for almost 6,000 yards, over 60 touchdowns, only 11 picks. Almost 70% completion percentage. I mean, this guy was throwing all over the field a year ago, holds all the major records over there. So we know they lost a substantial amount of offense, but they got a guy that's a 3-year starter named Austin Reed. He played at West Florida, so that is a D2 school. But in 2019, he was able to lead them to an FCS title, a national championship. So this guy has been in there. He knows what it's like. He's already talked about in some of the interviews. He's not chasing Bailey Zappi. Bailey Zappi has one of the best, careers in college football. He said he's staying within himself. He's doing whatever he can do. And he knows that they're known for passing, but he says he can watch out for that running game. On the flip side, you got Austin P, who was an FCS team that has moved over to the FBS. They were in the Ohio Valley, and now they're in Atlantic Sun. Went only 6-5 last year under third-year coach Scotty Walden. But they won the last 4 out of the last 5. They lost several starters, but they got some mid receivers. One definitely Dre McCrary, over 50 catches, just under 1,000 yards receiving and 8 touchdowns. They're known for their defense. They got ball hawks led by all Atlantic Sun honor preseason honor Shamari Simmons, who is balling out at safety, 50 tackles, 4 interceptions, 10 pass breakups a year ago.
Yeah,
all intents and purposes, this should be a blowout. Western Kentucky is favored by almost 22 points, okay? But the over-under for this is 67.5. But I'm thinking that's more Western Kentucky running up the score than it is Austin.
Yeah, that's kind of low to me.
yeah, you know what I mean? So we're going to see what happens. Obviously, they're factoring in the fact that, you have so much offense that left Western Kentucky and Bailey Zappi, so they might need to reset, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. They've played this matchup since 1940, but Western Kentucky's 35-6-1. And their last matchup in 2012, Western Kentucky whooped them 49-10. So I'm not expecting Austin P to show up today, but I do want to see if they can at least run with Western Kentucky. This is probably the worst Western Kentucky you're going to have, and the worst it's been in the last several years. So I want to see if they can show up and do something. We'll see what happens today, but it don't matter because college football is back. So yes, buddy. But moving on down the list, after we see that one, obviously we talked about North Nebraska and Northwestern last week, but UNLV and Idaho State. UNLV is in a little transition there. They're dealing with something too. Talk to me, Kate. What do you think?
Well, the game is at UNLV, and UNLV is highly favored to win this game. They have Marcus Arroyo as their head coach. UNLV is 24-30 all time in its season openers, 19-10 when they're at home. But they only had a 2-10 record last season. Didn't go to any bowl games. Just the 7th time these two teams will be meeting. And UNLV, the last time they played, won 80-8. 80-8 in the win over the Bengals in 2015. So it's been 7 years since they've played played each other. But Tennessee transfer Harrison Bailey is expected to be their quarterback this season for the Rebels. He saw action in one game a year ago. His freshman year, he saw action in 6 games. He was 48 for 68 in passing, 70.6 passer rating, for 578 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So they don't have a lot of seasoned playing ability yet, but they're getting there. Defensively, the Rebels have a senior inside linebacker in Austin Ajaike, who missed the final 4 games last year due to injury, but he is supposedly supposed to be their very best defensive player. He's back. He will lead the Rebels with coming back from that injury. He finished second on the team with tackles, with 74 tackles, 43 of those solo, with 1 pass breakup. Best performance was 18 tackles, and guess who against who? The team they're playing.
Wow.
So
there it is.
Anyway, he should lead their defense and do very well for them. Idaho State, who on the other hand, led by Charlie Rangel, they have 2 head coaches actually. They have Mike Kramer as well, but they were 1-10 last year, no bowl games. Missed a few games due to COVID last year. So they were able to play. So anyway, the Bengals have an experienced play caller and Tyler Vanderwall. He was redshirted his freshman season. He started the first 8 games of his 2018 season. And the last game of that season, he led his team to 4 wins and with 1,310 yards, 5 TDs. And that was when he played for Wyoming. He transferred to Idaho State in 2020, completed 116 for 215 passes for 54% passer rating for 1,838 yards, 12 touchdowns, 10 interceptions though, but he was also injured last season. So, but he is their best chance at quarterback. So it might be a tough game for Idaho State, knowing they don't have a very strong leader at offense, but he's their strongest. They do have redshirt sophomore Raiden Hunter, who should be their starting running back. Last season, he carried for 66 times for only 240 yards, 3.6 yards per carry. In 3 seasons with the Bengals, Hunter has rushed for 117 times for 441 yards, 3.8 yards per carry. And then one of his best touchdowns and best games was against Cal Poly, carried for 13 times for 65 yards, 5 yards per carry, and caught for 2 passes and 6 yards. But these 2 teams are not so equally matched because UNLV has always been the more favored team to win this game. Should be exciting to see how they do. They both have gone through a lot with transfers, portal, everything else, losing players. They've had a lot of injuries in prior seasons with their star players. So we'll see. But I'm excited to see what happens with this game. Should be a good game. And I do feel like UNLV has the edge since they won 80-8 in their last match.
That's
That's brutal.
That's tough.
That's rough. Yeah. We might see some of those type of scores this weekend with some of these games, and this one might be one of those games because that's just 80-8. Good.
Can you imagine having to play 4 quarters of football and you only get 8 points?
Yeah,
and this team is just steamrolling you. Probably has like the C team out by the second half.
Yeah, I'm like, what was the score at halftime? You know what I mean? Like 50-0. Right? Like, you got to make a decision. We're coming out the locker room on this or what?
Yeah, right. That a slaughter rule. I mean,
right. You know?
Right.
They put the water boy in for real.
They need to. Come on, guy. Come on. You might as well get in here. You know, we'll put you on scholarship. Just like
exactly.
That is yeah, right. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. But hey, we will see. And that, that's the 3:30 game. Thank you very much for that, Kate. UNLV and Idaho State. Next is the UConn, Utah State at 4:00. Wyoming and Illinois is also at 4. Kate previewed that one a week ago. Illinois looking for them to bounce back, but in Wyoming the same thing. But Wyoming, both of them lost key players, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of team they both are able to try it out this year. But Collin, I'm gonna come to you for the 5:00 game, Duquesne versus Florida State. Mike Norvell, they say he's on the hot seat a little bit, man. What are you thinking about this one?
Yeah, he's been there. He's trying to provide or try to create some kind of culture there at FSU. But he's only had 8 wins in the 2 seasons that he's been there. And fun fact, FSU hasn't won a season opener since they beat Ole Miss in 2016. So they haven't won there. But what's different between them playing Duquesne this year and other games prior is that they've always played like a ranked opponent. This is the first year they haven't played a ranked opponent in Duquesne. But like I said, Novell may be on the hot seat, but he's trying to provide or try to create a culture there at FSU, and I can see the difference in years past. I think they're going to be better this year because of him. But they have 2 new starters on the O line, Bless Harris, and they got a graduate transfer, Dimitri Emmanuel. They have their defense. They have they have a very good linebacker in Tatum Bethune. He's a junior, and redshirt sophomore Jared Verse, a defensive end that they're bringing back. They have some transfers that Micah Pittman coming from Oregon. He's the three wide receivers that Jordan Travis is going to have severe. They're going to be great weapons for him. You have receiver Micah Pittman from Oregon. You have Johnny Wilson from Arizona State, and you have Deuce Spann from Illinois. So and also and wide receiver for Johnny Wilson. Fun thing is he's 6'7", and the average height on the Duquesne defense is 5'9" to 6'3". So he's gonna
just throw it up. I got it. Just throw it up.
Yeah, exactly. Jump ball.
Right.
But and just I have just a little bit to share with Duquesne. They have an Oregon transfer in Trey Benson, which may help their backfield a little bit, and then. But unfortunately he'll split time with Trayshawn Ward and Lawrence. I'm not sure how you say his name. Toafili. But they were averaging 124 yards per game, I guess. But yeah, I think this is going to be a blowout. Just from FSU's standpoint, from against Duquesne. But yeah, hopefully he's Novell's not on the hot seat. Maybe he'll put something together for this season.
Oh yeah, I'm interested to see what happens this week. We all know what happened a year ago against Jacksonville State. Sorry, Ben. It was ugly, but I did not know that they had not won a season opener in 2016.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
It was Ole Miss, and so they had the Jacksonville State game won at halftime, and then they had a 10-point lead, and then they let them come back to the second half, and they won. Jacksonville State won 2017. So
that's a daggone shame, man.
That's a dagger in the heart, dude. It's just like they're losing to Jacksonville State.
Right. Well, look,
being FSU, being Free Shoes University, that's what we call them down there.
Yo, they were absolutely, and it's crazy to say they were, but I mean, obviously, growing up, and we all know the year one in 2000 against Vic and Virginia Tech. We know about the Jameis years and everything like that. But wow, it's just it's crazy to see kind of how far they've, I guess, fallen in just the eyes of people. But I gotta, this touches the soul of one of the people that we have coming on here. And I got to bring him on. Did a little live last night. He's been doing them recently, and I love hopping on there and talking a little bit, hopping in the comments, talking with him. This man is a Florida State fan, and I'm just going to let him talk his stuff. Man, my guy, Mr. Ben Cornett. What up, Ben?
Hey, Ben.
Hey, you know what? Since you said all that stuff a couple minutes ago, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Let's go. Tar Heels. ACC, baby. Yo, talk to me, Ben. What's going on, man? Like, this should be a game where in the past, this was, okay, this is 45-0 at halftime. We're bringing in our second and third team. You know what I mean? Like, this is the game you bring your recruits to because it's going to be so big. But like you mentioned to me yesterday, you guys aren't favored by that much.
Well, we're a little bit I was kidding on that, but this is
not as much as you should be.
Right. I think this is the game where you want the recruits to say, you know what, we'll bring you back for our next home game. Let's not, let's not bring you in just yet.
Right.
No, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Look, you guys said it earlier. It's been not the best few years, obviously since Jimbo left. We've gone through guys like Willie Taggart now, Norvell. So, and he's trying to bring a culture there. Bring it back a little bit, but like anything, guys, this takes time. And Willie Taggart didn't have the time, although I didn't think he was the best fit there. No. But you get rid of him early, and then now you bring in Norvell. 2020 COVID year, ironically, a lot of coaches have gone through that, so that's not as big of an excuse. But still, it's very tough with recruiting or lack of recruiting because you can't. In 2020, you couldn't go to kids' homes and stuff because of the outbreak and stuff. So it's made it. He hasn't had the easiest start, but at the same time, there's that expectation, at Florida State. It's one of those things where we never really been at the bottom. You know what I mean? We've always been pretty much high,
milling up.
And so unfortunately, a lot of fans expect that. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't gone through the trials and tribulations of, being at the bottom, then working yourself back up to the top, and the thing is, I preach this to a lot of fans, you got to be a little patient. We can't keep getting, hiring and firing coaches because you're never going to build that foundation. You're just going to go, just start all over again. And it just never works. So we got to give Norvell some time, but I will say that this year he does have kind of a favorable schedule. A lot of games at home against Clemson, Florida, Wake Forest. Those can be games we can win. That's possible. But again, unless he has a real bad year, if we're talking like 4-8 or 5-7, I could see a change. Unfortunately, maybe not, all his fault, but at the same time, the expectations there, fair or not, are always going to be high.
Absolutely.
Not to cut you about just a question and related to your point. It's hard to see these coaches going in and for these teams and building, the relationship and building this kind of favorable, environment for these kids, and then take off. Just kind of rolling. When they get there, they just take off. They expect them. We're fans, right? We have
portal's brutal.
Yeah, we're always fans, right? But we, like you said, we feel some type of way about, always being at the top. But then whenever you see a team that knock back a little bit, and then you see a coach go in and try to fix what's wrong and and actually have progress, then the money comes into factor, maybe, or something, some kind of situation happened, and they're gone. You know, and it's not fair to the kids. You know, it's a sucky situation.
Ask Travis Hunter that.
I know all about rebuilding. Yeah. I had Lloyd Carr dealt with Rich Rod and Brady Hoke, and now we're back to glory more with Harbaugh. So Michigan's gone through those ebbs and flows in the last few years. So but we're trying to get back on top.
Let's be very honest. There's only one team in this 4 set that's really gone through not being called not a football school. And that's right here. All right. Shout out to my guy, Mac Brown, who has brought us back and has given us such a resurgence. But there were some years where it's just like, is it college basketball season yet? Like, I'm just.
That's how I felt under Hoke and Rich Rod. I'm like, can we go to basketball? Can we just skip this?
Hey, listen, Sean, I mean, that was probably the best thing for your football program was to bring Mac Brown in because he brought that experience and also that legacy, you know. This is the same guy that was coaching Vince Young and that Texas team that won probably the greatest college football game in history. You know,
right.
So that was a great hire. It really is. It was a great hire.
And I loved him. He coached for us from '88 to I believe '97 before he went to Texas. I didn't even know that. And then he came back after a couple years after he had been in Texas. We all know about the 05 team. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Anthony Haney's in the comments. Oh snap! You brought troublemaker number 1 Ben on the show. Yeah, buddy. You already know. So yeah, this is going to be interesting. To be honest, I think we all kind of are in agreement that Florida State's going to win this game. Duquesne is what you call not a looker. You know, I don't Collin, shout out to you for giving us that little insight, but I'm seeing Florida State handily. Get it? Handy. Win this game. What about there we go, Anthony. I got a little humor in here. Let's go. I definitely see them winning this. We're going to keep you on here, Ben, because we did want to move quickly onto this. Nevada, New Mexico State. I talked about this a week ago. Nevada lost their star quarterback, Carson Strong. They lost one of their solid tight ends, Cole Turner. He came to Washington. So a number of pieces they lost. New Mexico State, on the other hand, is another one of these teams in transition, not really expected to do much. But, I mean, again, you never know in this type of game. Have any of y'all paid attention to this one at all? I mean,
not really. I mean, like you said, they lost Carson Strong for Nevada. So they brought in a new quarterback transfer. And, you know, they're in the Mountain West, same conference as UNLV, as Kate mentioned a few minutes ago. I live here in Vegas, so I know UNLV. We got we did, I think a week before today, we didn't know who the quarterback was going to be for UNLV. Yeah. They were going with 2 guys because they were both, I think, having some pretty good training camps. And Arroyo, this is real quick on UNLV. This is a kind of a big year for him. You know, he's another one. He needs time.
Yeah.
But for UNLV, the pressure's on, you know, because he's only won 2 games in 2 years, and you know,
after the Tate Martell experiment.
Yeah, it's been tough. But as far as Nevada, New Mexico State, I'll be watching a little bit.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
It's fun. I watch all the games too. I just got to get used to the rosters and stuff. I'm so indebted into Florida State right now, and some SEC, ACC teams, and some Pac-12 teams too. That. You know, it's going to take me a minute to get used to because I got to watch the games and see how they do. You know, so.
And look, like Collin was talking to me about last night. You know, all the analytics, all the stuff we do in the off season is great, but as soon as they hit those first pads crunch against each other, as soon as the first whistle, the first flag, the first touchdown, okay, now I got something I can go on. Now I can you know what I mean? I see what's going on. Collin, you had something to say?
Well, I was going to say that just an interesting note that when I was looking at the Vanderbilt Hawaii game is that Nevada actually has I believe it is the fewest returning players on any college team, and the reason I know that is Hawaii is actually second to the fewest. So I mean, it's Hawaii then Nevada. So that was just an interesting tidbit I found while looking at this Vanderbilt game. So it's gotta be tough.
That's rebuilding.
That's going. Hawaii lost a lot.
Definitely rebuilding.
Oh yeah. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, we definitely want to bring you the early games, and those are the games that will be coming on within the next 2 hours, in fact, less than 90 minutes. These games will be starting. College football is back. We are here to bring you that intro into the season. Welcome to Let's Talk College Football, ladies and gentlemen. And as this, Ben, we're going to keep you on here. We got to bring in a buddy of mine. He's going to do a little team spotlight. He's going to talk about his team, his Northern Illinois Huskies. Before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you're into football cards, but if you are, you need to get up with my guy. What's his name? Squid Rips. Yeah, buddy. So hit up my guy, Sydney Swinton on Squid Rips Cards. He will be going. He goes live on TikTok. Follow him on Instagram because then he goes live all at different times in the day, the week, whatever. So definitely get at him. I got a number of different cards from him. So he's my card guy, if you will. But look, you see what it is. It looks a little smoky over there. It looks a little smoky. That's because my guy's here, Mr. Nick. I want the smoke, Rosario. What up, Nick?
Well, good morning, Mr. Spencer. How are you, sir?
Always good, my friend, when I see your face.
Listen,
always
I got
good.
for you today. It makes me so. I'm blushing. I'm red. Look at me. But anyways, listen. Let's bring back to why we're here, my friend. It is the start of college football. And with that comes the promise of another year, right? Everybody thinks their team, is going to be undefeated. We're going to go all the way. Here we are. All that good stuff. I'll say this, my friend. Because, I know you're Carolina Tar Heels. I know. Mac Brown, that's fantastic. All that's great. But here in Illinois, we have a team that people need to understand is probably the best college football team in Illinois right now. And that is my Northern Illinois Huskies. We are the Mac and lost to Coastal Carolina 47-41 last year on a very controversial ending to the game. But we won't get into that right now. Those of you who you remember all that. Anywho, let us get into this year. Now, we are MAC West Division. Of course, we are in the MAC Illinois Huskies. And we're in the MAC Division of the conference. And last year we went 6-2. 9-5 overall with a very impressive week 1 win over Georgia Tech last year in an upset, which was fantastic. Now, see, all of this to say that I believe the credit belongs to head Thomas Hammock, who is going into his 4th year, who also was a standout running back at Northern Illinois in the early 80s. Now, some of you will go, yeah, but his record's 14-18. But that includes a 2020 COVID campaign where we went 0-6 with all freshmen and sophomores. Thomas has really changed everything there. Last year, we went from 0 to hero in just 1 year. Last year, we were third in college football in rushing yards, 241 a game, behind an offensive line that returns 4 starters, including standouts Nolan Potter and Logan Zurich. Let me tell you something, folks. We can run the ball here at Northern Illinois. Now, we did lose our leading rusher to Memphis, Jay Ducker, and that's a shame. But Harrison Whaley is going to take over this year, and that's a name I want you guys to look for. Harrison Whaley. Remember that name, running back Northern Illinois. You're going to hear it out this year. Also returning quarterback Rocky Lombardi, who was a Michigan State transfer a few years ago. And Rocky's a great game manager. He can throw the ball. He can run the ball. He moves. Michigan State, I appreciate that. Thank you for Rocky Lombardi. But I'm telling you, and here's another name. I want to this name. No, I do. Trayvon Rudolph. Wide receiver for us. Let me tell you something, folks. This guy's a speedster. He's a returner. We use him on special teams. He's our leading in a MAC championship game alone last year. The guy had 3 touchdowns and 309 yards receiving. This guy is going to be a barn burner. Let me tell you something. Remember that name when I told you, Trayvon Rudolph. Remember the name, wide receiver, Northern Illinois.
Okay.
Kind of in that vein of other great receivers we've had, like a Kenny Galladay, Sam Hurd, unfortunately, PJ Fleck, who now coaches Minnesota.
Yeah.
Some great Northern receivers in the past. But I'm telling you, our running game is our bread and butter. But our offense is great. The defense was the problem. But we are returning 2 starters on defense, which is great. Our secondary is what's really going to carry us. Standouts. We got my boy C.J. Brown, who led the team with 107 tackles. We got my man Jordan Grandy, and of course Devontae O'Malley, our defensive end. He led our team last year in sacks. I do predict. I want to say this again, everybody. Our biggest game is Toledo. They're our biggest rival and our biggest threat in this West Division this year. October 8th. Mark that down. That's the game. Toledo. That's pretty much probably going to be who wins the MAC West. But I feel my Huskies will come out on top. So I'm predicting this year a 7-1 record in the MAC division. Number 1, we go back again to the MAC championship, win that, and then we figure out what bowl game they want to put us in. But I'm telling you, don't sleep on Northern Illinois this year. Like I said, I think the best team now in Illinois in college football. My opinion.
I like that.
My opinion counts, baby, because you heard it here first. That's what I'm saying. So you want to smoke? You smoke. Northern Illinois, my friend, best football team, college football, Illinois. Let's do this. MAC is
Let's go.
And back to becoming MAC champions. We're there, baby. Let's go. Bowl game. We'll take on anybody. Anybody.
Take on all
your
covers.
Carolina Tar Heels. Bowl game.
You don't want it. You don't want it.
That's right.
You ain't ready.
Yeah, we do. But seriously, we're going to be top 5 again in rushing, I believe. 4 returning starters on the offensive line. Harrison Whaley, Rocky Lombardi, book it, my friend. Trayvon Rudolph, this offense puts up points, my friend, and that's what we're going to do this year.
Oh, I like that.
And that's
I asked.
Words of Forrest Gump. That's all I got to say about that.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
My guy, Mr. Nicholas Rosario. Ladies and gentlemen, he will be with us all throughout this fall on Let's Talk College Football. Let's Talk Football the Roundtable. Let's Talk Football Sunday Game Day Preview. He will be here for all of it, giving us the news, the notes, and all the smoke, baby. All the smoke. My guy,
Go
Big
Huskies.
Nick.
Go Huskies. Go Huskies. Go Huskies. Go Huskies. Go Huskies.
Yeah.
Go Huskies. Go Huskies.
Nick, you already know, man. It's all love, my friend. I appreciate you, buddy.
Brother. Yep. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Go Huskies.
We will talk soon. And for those of you who don't know,
Absolutely.
Let's Talk Football. Let's Talk Football Sunday. Yeah, buddy, that was my guy, Nicholas. I want the smoke. Rosario giving us his team, Northern Illinois. Shout out to their quarterback, Rocky Lombardi, who was a Spartan at one point. I got to show love to my baby. You know how it is. But definitely shout out to him. He will be on a number of the shows this fall, but he will also be back on this one to talk college football, to talk everything that we're talking right now. And I absolutely love that. Cannot wait to see what he's got coming. We are going to go ahead and move on, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about the day games, but now let's get to the night games. Yeah, buddy. So now we are going through the night games, and that starts at 7 o'clock with Charlotte playing FAU. My Tar Heels playing FAMU, or whoever came on the bus, because not many people did come on the bus. North Texas plays the University of Texas out El Paso. And then Vandy goes all the way to Hawaii to play the very, very late game at 10:30. Only 4 games on this late game docket. But again, it is week 0. It's not much going on. I'm going to start with you, Kate. Charlotte, FAU. What are you expecting from this game?
I'm expecting that Charlotte should win this game, and I'm expecting that these Conference USA rivals will have a good battle on the field today. The Owls are only favored by 7 points, though. They won 5 of their first 8 games last season, closed with 4 consecutive losses, unfortunately. But one of the Owls' victories came at Charlotte, where they won 38-9 and are 5-2 in the series against FAU. The Owls racked up 427 yards of total offense in last year's game, mostly on the ground. Donnie Ford gained 92 of the 202 rushing yards and finished with a 1-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter. Junior and native of Miami caught a screen pass in the third and a 32-yard score that secured the lead. Ran for 831 yards and 5 touchdowns last season while catching 23 passes for 280 yards. So he's an explosive back who can catch the screen pass when the quarterback needs him to and run it for touchdowns. And he's explosive on the ground as well. So be watching Johnny Ford tonight for Charlotte. And then they have quarterback Kenosi Perry, who was 9 of 11 passes for 225 yards and 3 touchdowns last year against them. He came from the University of Miami. Perry threw for 2,771 yards with 20 touchdowns, only 7 interceptions for the Owls. But their insecure part of their team is their shaky secondary. They've lost a lot of players there, so we'll see how well they do for them. And then you have FAU with quarterback Chris Reynolds, the redshirt senior, completed 64% of his passes for 2,680 yards with 26 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. He was picked off twice in his loss to FAU, though, last season, but was 22-31 for 219 yards and a score. Charlotte's top 3 receivers from last season are back. Reynolds have plenty of good options. Junior Grant DuBose had 62 receptions for 892 yards and a team high 6 touchdowns, 1 versus the Owls. Sophomore Elijah Spencer had 6 touchdowns and made catches for 381 yards. Redshirt senior Victor Tucker recorded 51 for receptions for 639 yards and 2 scores, but the Owls should win this one, and it should be a very good game.
I like that.
But they're only 7-point favorites, so it could be anyone's game. So it could be FAU, it could be Charlotte.
I'm eager to see what Charlotte does. Ben, I'm going to come to you because Charlotte in the last couple of years has been – I mean, they've shocked a couple people. They won, I believe, a couple years ago against BYU. They've kind of come up, and them in a Coastal Carolina. You know, they've kind of steeped through the cracks. Got a couple W's. What are your thoughts on the Charlotte team and FAU? I mean, FAU down in near Florida State and all that area. So talk to me about a little bit about this game too.
Charlotte. Again, they're the 49ers.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Right, there it is.
Gives them a little credibility in the college football. But to be honest with you, I'm not really familiar with Charlotte. I know they're in the AAU. Right? Is it the AAU they're in with Memphis and those guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They're playing FAU tonight. Again, I'm not familiar with Charlotte, but I am a little familiar with Florida Atlantic, with Willie Taggart being there. So, it should be an interesting game. Again, it's one of those games where it's might not be on a lot of people's radar, but if you're a true college football fan, you're going to tune in and watch a little bit of it.
Absolutely.
To see. And we'll see what happens. I would probably pick, is it Charlotte the home team?
Mm-hmm. They the away?
The home team.
FAU's home, yeah.
FA's home. Ooh, okay. Well, I would probably go FAU in this one.
At home. Okay.
At home.
Oh, I like that.
That might be like an upset pick for me,
Okay.
But hey,
I can dig it.
Taggart's really starting to get that program going a little bit.
Yeah.
Something unlike Florida State.
Right. But, different expectations.
Different expectations. That's true. But again, still, it's college football.
Absolutely.
You're still there. You want to get the program going, and hey, this for both teams. This could be whoever wins this game. Could be good things going forward. Yeah. So, and if whoever loses, be a tough start. But it's only the first game. It's not the end of the world.
Right. And for like you said, like only the people that are really deep into this are watching these games. For a lot of people, the college football season doesn't start till next week. You know what I mean? So this is one of those games that might be pushed to the side for some, but check this one out, ladies and gentlemen. I think you're going to get yourself a good game, if not for anything else, but for the fact that most, if not all of the players will be there, which is more than I can say for this next game, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, my Tar Heels in week 0, the first time we've ever played in week 0, are playing FAMU, or what's left of FAMU. Ladies and gentlemen, FAMU they're solid. 9-3 a year ago. At one point they had like a 7-point win streak, but hours before this game, or probably a day before the game, it was in danger of getting canceled. 20 players from the FAMU team, including a number of starters, were not ineligible, either with transfer stuff or with grades or what have you. So at one point they only had, and right now coming into this game, they only have 7 scholarship players that are eligible to play in this. The players weren't even going to get on the bus, to be quite honest with you. They weren't going to get on the bus. They were going to stay. I mean, why would you? You're going to get, the chances of you winning initially weren't great, but now with not having most of your talent, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of performance they put out. Look, Willie Simmons, their coach, is a solid guy. He's a star in the HBCU community, and really doing big things with this team. You know what my team is. We lost Sam Howell to NFL. Ben, I was talking to you about that a lot last night and everything. Yep. We see how he's going. This is now the time of Drake May. He is the freshman. He's coming in here ready to get this thing going. And Mac Brown, we know what he's done. We know what he's done with good quarterbacks. He's had Vince Young. He's had Sam Howell from a year ago. A year ago was rough at 6. We went 6-7, losing in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Not too bad. Mad that we lost because their coach.
You, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Go Blue Devils.
Had to jab that a little bit.
I don't know what happened to Ben on the show, but no.
Did you say they lost to?
Oh my goodness.
But Sam Howell, real quick, was going to be going to Florida State, then he transferred to North Carolina.
To the right team.
Oh.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day in this game, you want to see a good matchup. You want to see, even if there's a big talent disparity, but the fact that FAU is still playing, at one point you're like, okay, that's great, good. You're going to still play with whoever you're out. But let's be honest, Ben, I talked to you about this last night. FAMU stands to make $450K off of this for their program, which is, like you were talking about, is something that is good for the athletic facilities. Is good for campus life, bringing recruits, things of that nature. So these type of games, this needs to happen. So I wonder if that played more of a role in them all ended up coming than anything else. But this game should be a blowout. My Tar Heels should get it done. We're returning 101 reception in Josh Downs, who's a stud last year, and we have a number of wide receivers under him. I want you to take a list, Petaway, and I'll get that name back to you in a little bit. The two-headed running back monster in the backfield. They're saying these guys are kind of similar to the Michael Carter and Javonte Williams that we had a couple years ago. Those of you who don't know, Javonte Williams is in Denver and is really highly touted in the league after just a couple years. And then Michael Carter's with the New York Jets, who's also been playing a pretty legitimate role for them. So I like what I'm seeing. And to obviously to help, we get Gene Chizik. Those of you, out Georgia boys, you know about old Gene Chizik and everything that he's done. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see what we bring to the table this year. this might not be the matchup that's going to really showcase the talents. It might be a cakewalk, but then we got App State next week. And my dear friend Kate knows a little bit thing about App State.
Don't go there.
Sorry about that. I'm
But
sorry. But
I think FAMU had to play this game because if they have all these roster issues, they need to get the players they do have that experience on the field and figure out what pieces they do have to work for them.
Yeah.
So it's probably important that they did play this and not forfeit the game or cancel the game, because if they still have these 20 players with eligibility, injuries, transfers, whatever, they need to figure out who they do have that can play for them. So I'm glad they're showing up. And I'm sure they won't win. I'm sure you're Tar Heels. Tar Heels.
Now, there is one point. There is one place where I guarantee they will most certainly win. When your coach, and I love our coach, Mac Brown, when he sits here and doesn't talk about the team, doesn't talk about the quarterback, doesn't talk about the coach, talks about one of the best marching bands in the country, the incomparable Marching 100, FAMU marching band. And when your coach talks about them, that's how you know how good they are. The game is going to be the game, but everybody's going to wait to see halftime. They're going to want to see that performance. Look, if you haven't seen an HBCU marching band, that is sometimes better than the game. And not even because the talent ain't great on the game, but just because it's such a presentation and you're into it. And I love it.
I hope something like that should motivate a team, right?
Exactly.
If you have a great marching band, I would think that could motivate you to go out there and play better.
But that's like saying
they get down and get funky.
They could, yeah.
What do you got to
that's
lose?
That's like saying if your basketball team's amazing, then your football team should be great. But as you saw, it didn't work for us. All right, all the real talent is on the marching band.
It can work here though.
Just like a drum line, man. Look at Nick Cannon. You want a drum line, baby? Come on.
Nick Cannon.
Hey,
Atlanta's the same way.
Our football team, they're getting up there now.
Yeah. So hey, at the end of the day, like Kate said, North Carolina is favored to win this ball game, and let's see what happens. I'm eager to see what Drake May does. I'm eager to see kind of how our offense look. We have a stud D line led by Desmond Evans, number 10. So I want to see how Gene Chizik works that defense. We got great linebackers in the backfield, some solid safety. So I really want to see what he brings to the table. And even though this might not be a game that they're playing up to your level, let's not play down to them. Let's get the job done. And I want this over by halftime. That's just me. But I can't wait. It's under the lights. So I am so excited about that. Moving on, North Texas plays UTEP at 9. But the game that people are talking about, well, not really. But the latest game and the last game of the night, Vanderbilt versus Hawaii in Hawaii. I'm coming to the SEC Insider, Mr. Collin P from the DMV. Collin, talk to me about Vandy, the SEC, and Hawaii. What should we expect out of this today?
Well, it's just funny to me because in my college days, I used to dabble a little bit of betting on college football, that kind of stuff. And it was always when you were down, man, you waited on a Hawaii game because it was always like, midnight, 10, 11 o'clock. That was your late game to come back and make your money back. That's your last chance. But, you and I talked a little bit last night about it. I think, I'm not sure, but I think it's the first time actually Vandy has played Hawaii and vice versa. I can't remember them ever playing Hawaii. Vanderbilt's been struggling. They had losses to Georgia, Florida, and Miss-State last year, and they were outscored 149-6. So that's a huge boost for your confidence, I'm sure. But they allowed at least 21 points per opponent, and they averaged their opponents averaged 35.8 points against them and 457.3 yards in offense. So but they have but they had Ray Davis. Ray Davis was actually out of 2021 due to health concerns. But they do have on bright spot that you and I talked about, Mike Wright. He is a quarterback. He's an elusive talent. He's got quick. He's got a strong arm, quick feet, and also the 80% of the offensive line is returning. You got Rocco Griffin and I guess it's Roman Davis. So that's just good. Good for the offense. 80% of those guys are coming back, so giving Mike a little bit of protection. On the flip side of that, on the defense side of the ball, 75% of their players are coming back on the defense, and you got Anthony Orgi, I guess it's Orgi, Orgi. He had 92 tackles, and actually 13 of those tackles were against Tennessee alone. And you also have linebacker DeRicky Wright coming back. So they have a lot of bright spots in Vanderbilt and Hawaii. I mentioned earlier we were talking. They are the second team the second fewest players to come back. Their team is they're not returning a lot of people. So that's definitely they average 28.8 points and 405 yards per game. They allowed 31.4 points a game and allowed 446 yards per game as well. They had some transfers come in, Joey Yellen from Pitt and Cameron Cooper from Washington State. But they did lose their top three receivers. But their running back, Derek Pearson, he's returning. He had 300 receiving yards as well as 600 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. So, I mean, that was good for him. And your defense for Hawaii, you got Panay Pavi. He had 47 tackles. He had Isaiah Tafuga. He had 2 sacks, and Hugh Nelson had 2 interceptions. And like I said, they only have 33% of their roster returning. So, I mean, I'm looking at, we talked about it last night a little bit, Sean. I said Vandy might Vandy. I mean, I was just saying that, Vandy's kind of a weird team. I mean, they could come out of nowhere and beat you, and then sometimes they, lay an egg. I mean, there's really no in between that I've noticed, in that team. But it should be a good game. I mean, I think Vandy's going to come out with it, and they're picked to win by 9.5. So,
absolutely. I'm expecting great things from Clark Lee. Obviously, he ruffled feathers in the daggone media day, saying we could be the best team in the country and everything like that. But I think when you're coaching a team that has been perennially bad, you have to say things like that. You have to get your guys charged up, because if they see you believing it, then they're going to believe it. And at Vandy, there's only one way to go, and it is up. You know what I mean? So I'm eager to see what happens with this game. I'm eager to see, because, like you said, Hawaii has a number of people that are not returning, with 50 some odd new players coming to Hawaii, new coach, new stuff. Kate, you were talking about that a week ago. And let's be very honest, they're going to Hawaii. For those of you who don't know, Vanderbilt is on the East Coast. So Vanderbilt, it's in Nashville, right?
Yeah, it's in Tennessee.
Yeah, so they're going all the way to Hawaii. You talk about a time change, and even if they've been there a couple of days, kind of getting acclimated, you're still in Hawaii. And I don't know if any of you guys have been there. My brother was in the Marines, and he was stationed out there. You ain't focusing on no game in Hawaii. What was that, Ben? You focus on a little bit of that.
Right.
You get laid as soon as you get off the plane. I mean, with the delays, guys.
I got what you mean.
I got
PG, keep it PG, man.
I got keep it PG. Mom might be watching.
Right.
All right, Mom might be watching. All right. So that Vanderbilt, this is their opportunity to start off the year in the right way on a team in Hawaii that is not looking. I mean, they're really rebuilding from scratch. Right. So I'm eager to see what they do. Shout out to Tommy Chang, their coach. You brought him up a week ago.
Their new coach. 2004, right before Colt Brennan.
Exactly.
The quarterback.
R.I.P. Colt. Yeah. So I'm eager to see what they do, and with their new coordinator, I think Shoemaker. He has that real fast-paced offense. So we're going to see what happens tonight, and who knows? We might get the last game of the night being a little barn burner, a little high-scoring affair, because I'm not sure there's going to be any defenses going on here.
Probably not.
No.
Yeah. So we shall definitely see, and we're gonna take a quick little break, and after, on the other side of this break, we're going to talk a little bit about some coaches on the hot seat, because I know me and my guy Ben, we talked about this a little bit earlier, and we're going to bring in another friend of the show to kind of talk about this, and then we're going to segue somewhere else. But before we do that, Tuesday nights, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, Let's Talk Football, the round table comes on Tuesdays. They talk news, they talk notes, they talk ins and outs of football. And they are hosted by my guy that you saw on here earlier, Nicholas I Want to Smoke Rosario, Delilah, and host of Diversity with Delilah Crespo, and another gentleman who'll be with us after the break. Check this out. Yeah, buddy. Welcome to the show, Anthony Handy. What up, Anthony?
Go, dog. Sugar. Hurt.
Yep.
My man.
Mind y'all, that's the only time you're going to hear me barking because I don't want no Q dogs thinking I'm trying to switch sides, okay?
Right. And if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, our guy down here, Mr. Anthony Handy, joins our guy over there, Collin P from the DMV, Monday nights. And they are this week in SEC. They talk about their Georgia Bulldogs. They talk about Alabama. They talk about everybody in the SEC, players and coaches alike. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and move on. There are a number of coaches. We talked about a week ago, top 5 coaches in the country and all the moves they made. And I know Anthony and Colin's coach is on that top 5 list of best with Mr. Kobe Smarter after he got his title this past year. But we're going to switch sides, and we're going to talk about the top 5 coaches on the hot seat, starting with Steve Sarkisian, which I was kind of surprised on, in Texas. Herm Edwards, my guy. We play to win the game. All right. Jeff Collins out of Georgia Tech. Mike Norvell, Florida State. Brian Harsin, who we're going to talk about a little bit later. And number 1, Scott Frost, who's over in Dublin with Nebraska. I'm coming over to you first, Mr. Florida State, Ben Cornett. Your coach is on this list at number 3, Mike Norvell. You talked about him a little bit earlier. What are your thoughts? Is he really – I mean, is this I have to win a bowl in order to keep my job? Or what are they thinking? Is he gone? Like, what are you thinking?
Well, I think from FSU's perspective, they need to not only have a winning season, but not only get to a bowl game, but win a bowl game. Now, of course, again, like I said earlier, the expectations are very high at Florida State because for years and years, we've never had a downhill spiral like we had in years past. So it's like, oh, we got to have it quickly. Well, that's usually when you get in trouble is when you get rid of people earlier than expected, not build that foundation. My expectation this year should be 7-5 and to get to a bowl game. And then you go from there. I think that should be enough to save his job. But if he has another year where it's like 5-7, and let's say like he has, God forbid, another embarrassing loss to a lesser team.
Jacksonville State. Yeah.
Then now I will say that that's not good because you can't be losing to teams like Duquesne and other teams like that, and really Syracuse because they're you'll talk about that in a little bit with their coach on the hot seat too. But Babers, if you lose to somebody like that, then now it gets interesting. Now you're looking at your back of your pants and you're starting to see smoke, and that's not from what you ate earlier. That's from it's heating up, man. And but look, in all seriousness, I think he's going to be around another year. I think it's going to be good enough to keep him one more year, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, that's interesting. And Anthony, with the name that you and I both mentioned on this list, former NFL coach, Herm Edwards. I mean, he has it. Arizona State is not expected to win the Pac-12 every year. So, and he's had some decent talent. I'm just surprised to see him on this list. What are your thoughts on that?
I think there's got to be a tough one all the way around because Herm Edwards is very well beloved. Was very well beloved as NFL coach, and very highly respected. I think in 2022 though it comes down to results. When you got NIL now, and you got the battle for recruiting, and you got I think when he came on board, there are a lot of factors now that factor into certain things that as a college coach criteria that didn't factor in when he got hired. I mean, now like I said, you got NIL now. You've got recruiting. The whole recruiting battle in the spring and in the fall is now just as highly publicized as who went to the draft, who won the national championship.
Very true.
I think the boosters want to win. At the end of the day, the boosters want to win. And we're going to get into that with another coach that's on this list too. And I talked about yesterday. I mean, he hasn't done badly. I mean, he's been 25-18, which is not bad. But in the Pac-12, when you're running with USC, when you're running with UCLA, when you're running with now Oregon, who is surged to the forefront, Utah, who is now making their way into powerhouse status in that same conference, you got to do better than what you're doing. Like me, there was a time when you could have a 25-18 record along those lines consistently and still manage to keep your job. But in 2022, it's not enough.
Yeah, it's winner or go home.
Exactly.
And they're changing people out very, very quickly. Kate, I'm coming to you, and I'm going to go to the Big Ten. Number one name on this list, Scott Frost. We know they're overseas in Dublin playing today. I mean, look, he made all his fame, all his accolades were at Nebraska, and come back and the coach there. And Alex was talking about it a week ago. He's on the hot seat. Like,
yes,
talk to me.
Is.
What does he have to do to stay with the team?
He's got to win his division and go to the Big Ten championship and prove that he can be in the Big Ten and play with the big dogs. And
that's a tall task. Yeah.
It's a very tall task, but he's got a team with talent to do it. He's just got to finish these games. He can't go out and have close losses and close games. He's got to come in and finish. And they have such a good, talented team that he should be able to do it, but he can't finish. No. He gets in there and he battles, and you think he has a chance, and then his opponent just starts rolling over him like Michigan did last year. We went there, and that's a lion's den. Have you ever seen the environment of Nebraska?
Yeah.
It's crazy to go into Nebraska and play football. Their fan base has a lot of expectations. And if he can't get it done and he's not going to finish and he's not going to go to the Big Ten championship, his job should be on the line. Look at Michigan. We have some bad years, and they're like, go to the NFL, Harbaugh, fire him. No. Our fans expect a lot. So the Nebraska fans have been known to seen glory. They've seen really good football in their day. So they expect a lot. And so, and unfortunately that falls on your head coach more than it falls on your defensive coordinator, your offensive coordinator. It's more than just the players. It's your coach, because he's the leader. He's the one who sets the game plan. So Scott Frost has a lot to prove in the Big Ten, because the Big Ten is scary this year. We have Wisconsin, we have us, we have Michigan State, Ohio State. There's a lot of scary pieces in the Big Ten this season. So Scott Frost has got to prove he belongs there.
Absolutely.
And especially in 2 years when we're going to bring in UCLA and USC, you got some major dogs coming to our conference soon.
Right.
And they're looking at adding more teams like Oregon and Washington too. So you got to show up in the Big Ten or you're going to be shipping out.
You absolutely do. And like you said, they're not only fighting the past and all the national championships and Tommy Frazier and all those guys, but they're also fighting the current coaches. You talk about, shout out to Michigan State, Mel Tucker's, Michigan, Harbaugh, Ryan Day at Ohio State. You got solid coaches, legitimate coaches that are proving to have success year in and year out. And if you can't level up with that and you can't measure up to those, it's going to be hard for you. it's going to be hard for you. I want to come over to you, Collin, because the name that you guys talked about, a team that's actually going to be coming to the SEC in next year, is it? Or is it 2 years?
2025.
2025. The Texas Longhorns and Steve Sarkisian, he's on the hot seat. I mean, that surprises me. What do you think?
No, that surprises me too. I mean, your team, it seems to be the common factor with everybody here on these lists. It comes down to winning, and when you have a team like Texas, and these other teams that are used to winning and have these accolades back in the day, that are used to a certain standard. Everybody's quick to jump the gun, and I don't really. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure why he's on why would he be on the hot seat? I mean, honestly, what was his record last year? I mean, I'm not privy to that.
Was he 6-7?
Was it a losing game?
Was it 6-7? Because I
think it was 6-7. Yeah, they made a bowl game and lost that, but 6-7 sounds about right.
But I think the making it to a bowl game is only. I mean, being a Georgia fan, we make bowl games, we 10-win seasons, that kind of stuff. I mean, you have that expectation for fans, and when it's not the realist, the expectations aren't being met, then obviously there's calls for heads and people losing their job. But I mean, I think, I mean, like Kate said, I mean, I would give him one more year. I don't think. I mean, if he actually has another losing season this year, I could believe Texas would tell him to show him the door. But I don't believe they actually have that losing season this year. They may be a little bit better than 500.
Yeah. I don't see that. See that. Go ahead.
I think the big thing for Texas was last year they came out the gate with both guns blazing, and the pivotal point, of course, the game that we all talk about because of all of the fallout and all of the coaching changes that took place was Red River. Yeah. And when Oklahoma came in and Caleb Williams just dissect. I mean, Texas had Oklahoma on their heels. And Oklahoma had always had Texas number, has had Texas number for the past 5-6 years with Lincoln Riley there. When he just dissected them, and the season just kind of went up and down from there. I think that was the pivotal point for Texas in their season last year. I mean, they wound up losing, and then as a result, at the end of the season, they lose their quarterback. Casey Thompson is. Where did Casey Thompson wound up someplace else? He transferred.
Yeah, he transferred out.
Yeah, I don't forgot where he went to, but that I think that right there is. I think that right there is the point where people just went, because when it's just like with us in Florida. For the longest time, we couldn't beat Florida, and people were like, fire Mark Richt, and they couldn't win that game, and they got rid of Mark Richt, and Kirby came in, and he was like, Florida, get out of here, and they're like, we like this kid, so that's just.
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
Oh, I'm sorry, real quick. Didn't they lose to Kansas at home?
Yeah, that was the pivotal thing. You don't lose to Kansas in football.
That was the one I think that people are saying, okay, that seat's a little warm now. You don't lose to Kansas. That was at Texas too. That was the one.
And they had that game.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing with him being on the hot seat is, I mean, in 2023, he's supposed to get Arch Manning. Which could be a pivotal switch for Texas. So it's surprising with his great recruiting and getting Arch Manning to come to his team that they would put him on the hot seat with that coming in the future.
They may have somebody else in mind.
He's got Quinn Ewers. He's got Quinn Ewers this season.
Yeah.
Right. Not to mention one of the best running backs in the country, Bijan Robinson. So
right.
If you cannot do it this year with this talent, and we don't know what to expect from Quinn Ewers. Obviously, we know, one of them recruited guys out of school, transferred over to Texas. We know what he's supposed to be, and we know what Arch is supposed to be. But what do you think you always say, Anthony? When the rubber meets the road, when the pads come on, that's when I want to see what happens. So until that, it's still a lot of speculation. And at the end of the day, all of this could be changed in one way or the other. You win, you're off this list. You lose, you stay on this list. Ben, I'm going to come to you. And I'm just going to go around clockwise. So I'm going to go Ben, Anthony, me, and then we'll come up around end with Collin. One name on this list that will not be a part of their team next year. Or are there any names?
I'm probably going to go with Jeff Collins at Georgia Tech.
Okay.
I think it's kind of time. They haven't really elevated to the level where they thought when they hired Collins. He went from their last coach to him now. And in the ACC, he shouldn't have that big of a problem because really you only have Clemson, Miami, and Wake Forest. Well, they did until Hartman unfortunately had to take a leave of absence. NC State's coming up. They're getting better. Your Tar Heels, they're getting better. So this is the year where he needs something to show for it. And a bowl game, anything less than even a bowl game, I think he's out of here, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Anthony, what are you thinking?
Oh, you know which way I'm going, Brian Harsin.
I know. I knew it. Yeah.
Brian Harsin, hands down. I mean, this story just broke. What was it I told you about yesterday?
Wait. Save a little bit because I'm going to give you your segment.
Okay.
All right. You talking about that, right?
No. I will talk about that. But Brian Harsin, hands down, I'm gonna get into it later. But it's already been established that they want that man gone. And the only thing that will save him, I think, the only thing that will save Brian Harsin from not getting fired is for him to win the West Division in the SEC. And we know that's not going to happen.
Wow.
That's a tall order.
Right.
I mean,
right.
So anyway,
very interesting. Yeah, no, for me, I think I have to go Scott Frost. I have to go Scott Frost in Nebraska, and I just think it's not as much because of him. I just think there's too much talent. Ben, I think you were the one who said a week ago when we were on here talking about Nebraska is like Detroit Lions. They have talent, they can get close, but they always seem to lose it at the end. And I think Scott Frost is out. Good.
And that's the thing too. You got to remember, if he had a lot of bad losses, he would have been gone by now. But I think because he had so many close losses, also there's some financial issues too that they lowered his pay too. Took a pay cut a little bit to keep him on. But yeah, if he had so many bad losses, like I said, he'd be gone by now. But because they were in games with Michigan, Kate, last year, a couple other games, he's getting one more shot. So we'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And going to you, Kate, what are your thoughts? Who will not be on the team next year?
Scott Frost, I'm with you. I have to go Big Ten here. He's got a lot to prove this year. And like I said, he needs to take his team all the way and prove to those needy, wanting to win it all Nebraska fans. Because let me tell you, I've watched their banter on Twitter about him, and it's ugly. They want a winning season, or else they want their coach gone.
Wow.
You should see some of the comments I've seen on Twitter about him.
I can only imagine.
It's brutal when the Big Ten coaches aren't winning.
Yeah. And
you have a Ryan Day that is, and you see what Ryan Day's doing in recruiting. They want that at their program. Yeah. And that starts with the coach.
Look, I'm going to tell you something. In most of these, especially in these big name schools, the worst thing that can happen is you win. Because the minute you start winning and winning national championships, all of a sudden, then everybody this is what it should be like forever. We talk about Florida State. And I mean, we know the run that they've had in the early 90s, mid to late 90s, in the early 2000s and the 2010s. Like, we know what kind of talent they are. So it's understanding. Georgia, you guys have had the same thing. When you guys are not winning national, you can get to it, or you can get like a game or so from it, and people are like, "Oh, get him out of here,
And another thing, Sean, with the boosters, I'm sorry to interrupt. The boosters, these are boosters that went to school in the 90s and the 2000s, where you had all this win. So that's what they expect.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing is the boosters.
Yeah, and the funny thing, and you mentioned, Sean, about the, you get that close, It's funny how these folks treat the coaches. Like Mark Richt, everybody wanted his head on a platter. They fired him, right? Now he shows up on game day on Saturday. There's standing ovations, and we love Coach Richt. And I'm like, anyway, yeah, I'm like Foobs, that one clip. What?
Right? Yo, Collin P, man, who will not be on this list? Who will be out of a job next year?
I'm a fingers down there because he had let me know that news broke last night, and I was we had been talking about that on and off and on our show and whatever. But it seemed to me that he was just kind of dodging things here and there. He was eventually going to get run over by something. Oh, yeah. But I would go. I'll let him get into it a little bit further. But yeah, I would think Harsin is I mean, do you actually think he's going to coach this season? Fingers? I mean, like they're going to let him coach him this season? I mean, I guess
we go get into it.
Before you get to that, yeah, ladies, yeah.
Oh, hang on. We gonna do something for something, nephews.
Come on with it. So look, hey, this is the top 5 coaches. Again, you win, you continue to win. You don't have to worry about this. But you lose any of these guys. What's his name? Mike Norvell. We talked about him. If they lose, Scott Frost. We talked about him. If they lose this opening week, you already need to, maybe start putting your stuff together because you're gonna have to turn it around. You've had time. You need to get it done. So,
hey, Bob Stoops, are you doing anything right now?
Exactly. He said, "Come on."
Hey, Sean, listen, I'm gonna head out, but I really, really appreciate you having me on, man. This was a lot of fun.
Hey, thank you for coming on, Ben.
Yeah, Collin, nice to meet you, sir. Good luck with your games, and my man Anthony,
the instigator. We call him that's the instigator on NFL Edition.
Let's go.
He's like in middle school, you always had the one guy that was kind of the bully, and the other guy that was always the fall guy. He's the guy in the middle that would go to the bully and go, "Hey, that man said your mama ugly," and then step back in the cut.
It was him. Yo,
I'm like the Sami Zayn of.
So now that's how he does me. He'd be like, "Hey man, Marty said your Falcons suck."
Right. He said it right. Well, yo, hey, real quick, before you go, man, tell everybody, NFL Edition, Bucks Report, all that, and even what you were doing last night. Talk to the people so we know where we can find you, where we can hop on.
Sure. I am on, as you know, Facebook. I do lives usually every Fridays. I may miss a Friday or two, just depending on my schedule. But I'm also on NFL Edition on Bucks Report every Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And I'm also on Twitter at BennyBoy702, BennyBoy 702. 702 is the area code where I'm at. So check me out there. And like I said, NFL Edition every Thursday night, Bucks Report. It's me, Johnny Dean, Alex Loosemore, Marty McKnight. You saw Anthony on there earlier. He was there this past Thursday night. We really talk about football, and we tend to BS a lot too. So we make it a lot of fun for everybody.
I can dig it. Yo, hey, real quick before you go, hey, you mentioned our guy Alex Loosemore is not on the show. Shout out to him recovering from COVID. And we have something that we want him to do if Ohio State and Michigan plays. But in honor of him not being here, had to bring on the khakis. Had to rock the khakis for my guy. You
watching Alex?
Alex, I put him on. You got to, man. Yo,
amen.
Khakis are the best.
Yes.
I wear khakis to work at least once a week. What you talking about?
You do the hard balls? That's what we call them up here.
There we go. In Michigan. Yo, Ben, my guy, I appreciate you so much, man. Hey, anytime you want to come on Saturday morning, you know where we're at. Come on here and chat it up with us.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everybody, for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you for coming on.
Sir. Yeah, buddy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot of shows in the Let's Talk Football community, and I don't need to name them, but one of them is This Week in SEC, and that's these two guys down here. We're going to give them the floor because they need to talk about one of the coaches in the SEC. Before we do that, we got a bunch of shows, and I'm not even going to try to go through them. I'm just going to give you a little bit of what they look like.
Hey, y'all, what's going on? Hey, Collin, we've been talking about this. They gave us the floor for this one. We've been talking about this one since the end of last season. News broke yesterday that Auburn athletic director, what is his name again? Lord have mercy. I just had it pulled up. Alan Green. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Mr. Green. Auburn athletic director Alan Green submitted his resignation, which was accepted by the chancellor. And now the search is on for a new athletic director. Now, for those of you that are wondering why this is significant, don't worry. We'll tell you. Last year, there was a big public push on the part of the boosters, on the part of the fans to try and get Brian Harsin fired. And that was his first year. The first year coach, they were trying to get him up out of there. Okay. They brought him in. They had all kinds of stuff against him. He had to come in off vacation and explain why they lost. It's like I could see him sitting there going, I don't know. I guess it didn't work out, but we're gonna do better next year. Whatever it was, there was a whole big publicized thing. And but why this is significant is because Green is who hired Brian Harsin and was the last piece of resistance to the push to get Brian Harsin fired. So, now it's do or die for Brian Harsin. What you got on that, Chief?
Yeah, no, I mean that like I said before, I kind of figured, like you said, when the AD resigning, that, like you said, that pretty much the writing's on the wall, and that makes me question whether they should actually give him the opportunity to coach this year. I mean, do you think they're going to? I mean, what's the chances that he gets through half of the season or whatever, and he's not doing well or whatever? They have, they're losing games. What are the chances they just pull him out?
If he gets to the halfway point of the season, and it's a 12-game season, if they're languishing, if they're like 2-4, they may pull the plug, or they may do what they did to Coach O and just say, look, you're done after this season. We'll let you coach the season out. Actually, I think they'll just go ahead and pull the plug on him and tell him to pack his locker, because they didn't want him to come back this season to begin with.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean? That's what I'm saying before. Like, would they even give him a chance to play coach the first game of the season? I mean, I guess they kind of have to at this point, because they have nobody to actually,
we're week 0. They got. I mean, that would be absolute madness for them too. The guy that has been pushing them through, that's pushed them through the spring game, spring camp, fall camp. That would be absolute madness. But we know.
I'm sorry. I think it's quite funny though to hear him talk on the at the podium saying that everybody loves him, the coach needed players, which they may. We're not in that locker room, right? I mean, to hear him talk, he's the greatest thing.
No, we're not.
We use your sliced bread,
sliced bread. I like that. I love that. Nah, fam, sliced bread. But
I hear him say it. Not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, to be 100% honest, 100% transparent, this thing could go either way. Like, they could go out and lay a fat goose egg next week, and they will pull the plug on him because they have wanted him gone, because other things are coming out now. Like, the boosters went to the athletic director. They had already picked out their guy. Like, this is how bad this story was. I heard this in the car on the way home. They had already picked out their guy, went to the AD and said, this is the guy that you need to put in the spot when you get rid of him. And the AD stood up for him. So I think, the question now is to be asked is, do the boosters have too much power? Do you think the boosters had something to do with the athletic director resigning? He only had 5 months left on his current contract. So do you think that the boosters just quietly went to him and said, look, man, here's a briefcase. You don't even have to worry about counting it. Take it and leave.
Well, like we talked about before, before all these NIL deals came out, everything was quiet behind the scenes. Everything's being now slowly but surely pushed to the front. So I agree with you. I think the boosters actually may have, money is money. The boosters may have a little bit too much power in certain circumstances or situations. But all this kind of stuff back in the day was all under the table. Nobody heard about it. But now, with NIL, those kind of deals being made, everything seems like everything is following suit. Coming up to the top. And everything is being brought out to the forefront. So, it seems like they have a little bit too much power, but
yeah. The even crazier thing about this, man, is this whole thing with Brian Harsin. It didn't start with the boosters. You know who it started with? His assistant coach, his defensive coordinator, Kevin Steele. Kevin Steele was campaigning behind the scenes for the head coaching job.
Oh.
And he also helped. He wanted the job. He interviewed for the job when they fired Gus, and he didn't get it. So he's just started quietly campaigning. And she's watching. It's like, I can't believe they hired this guy. I'd be a better guy for the job. You know what I mean?
So it's kind of like a situation of sour grapes, you think? I mean, like,
So he was campaigning to be the guy to get the job, and he didn't get the job. So now he's down at Miami under Cristobal, and the new coach head coach Cristobal. But and now it puts Auburn in a really tight spot. Like what happens to Auburn now, because they're still paying Gus Malzahn's contract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and unless they got cause to get rid of Harsin, they're gonna have to pay him too. So now they done got rid of 2 coaches in 2.5 seasons, and then they got to bring another one in, and they're still paying the other 2. Yeah. It's just like your boy. I can't ever remember his name. He's got that contract and he gets paid till 2030. Major League Baseball player. He gets a check. He gets a $1 million check every year. Bobby Bonilla. Thank you very much. Yeah, Sean Spencer, Mr. Sports Jeopardy down there in the private chat. Thank you, sir. It's like Bobby Bonilla there. They're gonna have to pay him either that, or they're just gonna have to cut him a fat check like they did with Coach O. 17. Hey, coach, here's a check for 17 mil. Have a ball. Now there's have a die. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
So I mean that's basically the gist of it. So coming to you, what do you agree that he essentially has to win at a minimum, has to win the West Division in order to shut up the haters?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I said that during one of our shows. I think he's got a mountain to climb in order to keep his job. In my opinion, I mean, I'm saying not only 500 ain't gonna do it. He's got to win at least 8 games. I would say 8 games. He's got to win at least 8, if not 9, to keep his job. To be honest with you, I mean, after all this stuff going on, he has no crutch now that AD's gone. So I mean, like he's gonna have to prove himself somehow, some way. So
well, he wasn't going to have him anyway because the AD would be gone by January. So either way, he was probably going to be gone. But so Brian Harsin, to wrap this thing up in a bun, because we have kind of sort of hijacked the show. Sean, thank you for letting us have a couple of minutes. But ladies and gentlemen, I mean, this is what it boils down to. Brian Harsin, look, man, you knew what you were facing when you came in here. Your boy Brutus tried to Julius Caesar you. And you managed to survive that, but now, your athletic director is gone. So go get him, man, and may the odds forever be in your favor. Sean, we're gonna turn it back to you. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. Fingers, coming to you live from Zagniv Central. And that fella over there, I gotta point the other way because you're on the opposite side today. That fella right there is the brother from another, the sexy mother hubba, the ace of base in the place in your face. I am very happy to be here. Collin P from the DMV, and together we do host This Week in SEC Football. We are on every Monday evening, depending on what time I get home from work. We either on at 6:30 Eastern to 7:30 Eastern, and we are on for about an hour or so. Check us out. We are live on Facebook. You can find us under This Week in SEC on the Facebook group. It is Zagniv Productions LLC on Twitter. And I think that's it. Oh, and Zagniv Productions on the IG. So come check us out. That's me. That's me. That's Collin P from the DMV. And we'll catch you later. Sean, Uncle Shay Shay's taking it back to you, sir. We gonna let you have it. We done our something before 2 something. Let's get back.
Yeah, buddy. My guys. This week in the SEC. I love it. I love it so much. Appreciate you guys coming on here, Mr. Anthony Handy. I definitely appreciate your time. Anytime you're able to get on here. Ladies and gentlemen, get familiar with that face. Monday nights, not only Mondays, but he also has show Parachute Pants, Popcorn and Parachute Pants. That's the movie podcast with our guy, Mr. Nicholas. I Want to Smoke Rosario. That's probably going to be on hiatus during baseball season, but we'll get back to that. Yeah, and then also Indian Unsigned, which was wrapping up season number 3. We got 2 more episodes coming because football season, and we know football season is the priority, ladies and gentlemen. I love to talk music. We get unsigned artists. We get singers, musicians, poets, authors, dancers. We get folks that come on and haven't found that upper echelon yet, but we just try and expose them to as many people as possible. And that is on Tuesday nights
on the YouTube, the Facebook, and the Twitter space. For those of y'all that migrated over from MySpace to Twitter, that means you're probably about 3 years shy of being able to collect AARP benefits, much like your boy. That we're on Tuesdays, and so check us out.
Yeah, buddy. Kate, unmute.
Muted.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So,
Anthony, I appreciate you so much. You always make me laugh. I love your Shannon Sharp. Thank you for coming on with us.
You know, Uncle Shay loves the ladies. Miss Kate, you look. I be seeing you. You got the head. You got the 3 different layers and everything going on. I be trying to tell Skip that he need to get his woman to do something with her hair like that. Maybe he won't be so uptight when we come on the show.
Oh Lord.
Oh, I love you.
My guy. Yo, so Anthony will definitely be joining us throughout the season, giving us the insight on everything that has to do with the SEC, his Georgia Bulldogs, and everything in college football. A lot of stuff going on, and he'll be with us all year along with Collin P. But we're gonna go ahead and let you go so we can go ahead and finish up the last couple seconds of the show.
There is no everything. There is only Georgia Bulldogs. Go Dogs.
Go Blue.
Wow.
Wait. Hold on. This is the first time I've ever been able to say that when somebody in a while since somebody clapped back at me. And how did that CFP game go? I'm sorry. See ya.
I'm gonna do it for you, Kate. Got the axe.
David will come and get you.
The little David, yes. But look, hey, we're moving close to the end of the show. But as you know, one of the things we always like to do is talk about our coaches. A week ago, we talked about what many people see as the GOAT. And Nick Saban. And this week, we're going to go with somebody that our dear friend Katie sees as the GOAT, greatest of all affection in time. I don't know. Yeah, she loves it. But we're going to go to the next segment, Kate's Coach's Corner. Yeah, buddy. And Kate Alverson, who are we covering today?
Mr. Khaki Pants, Mr. Jim Harbaugh. I have to.
The khakis. Show the khakis.
I'm just going to get him out of the way, and thank God Alex isn't here. We could have this segment for like 10 hours.
Good gracious.
But I thought I'd just get him out of the way. I covered the GOAT, the overall GOAT, Mr. Saban last week. So I thought I'd cover my boy this week. But we have Jim Harbaugh. He is 59 years old. He is the current coach at the University of Michigan. And he played for Michigan from 1983 to 86. He played in the NFL for 14 seasons from 87 to 2000. The longest tenure being with Nicholas Rosario's Bringing the Smoke Chicago Bears. He was the head coach of the San Diego Toreros from 04 to 06, Stanford from 07 to 2010. And then he took a little jaunt from college, went and coached the San Francisco 49ers from 2011 to 2014. And then that's when my manifestation finally happened, because when Lloyd Carr left, if you know me and my love for Michigan, I was like, hire Jim Harbaugh. But finally in 2015, after two failing seasons, two failing coaches with Hoke and Rodriguez, Harbaugh came home to his alma mater.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway, career highlights and awards from my boy is he was the Big Ten champion in last season in 2021. He is the two-time Big Ten East Division champion in 18 and 21. When he coached at San Diego, he was the two-time Pioneer champ in 05 and 06. When he was with the 49ers, he was NFL Coach of the Year in 2011. He was AP Coach of the Year last year in 2021. And he won the Woody Hayes Trophy in 2010. And little does anyone know, if you do know, His oldest son, Jay, coaches under him at U of M. And fans have a love-hate relationship with his son, Jay, but he's overall been a very good coach. He has an extensive career in the NFL as a player, starting with the Bears in 87 and ending with the Carolina Panthers in 2001. And he briefly played for our Detroit Lions in 2011. So he's had a very extensive career. His record in college is 117 to 45 losses in the regular season, 3-6 in the postseason. So he's 119 and 51 overall. And so he was born in Toledo, Ohio. Little did I know when I was researching him, and I should have known this, that he was born in that state. His father, Jack, was also a football coach, and he coached at U of M and Stanford. And then he attended high school in Ann Arbor. Did not realize that for a while. And Palo Alto, California. As a player at Michigan, as a fifth-year senior, he led Michigan to the 1987 Rose Bowl and finished third in the Heisman Trophy talks. So he was an outstanding college football player. And as I talked about last year, one of the reasons I fell in love with Michigan. And then maybe some of you didn't know it because his father coached at Western Kentucky. He was an unpaid assistant for his father from 94 to 01. His brother John coaches for the Ravens. And so when he was coaching for the 49ers, it was the first time in the NFL that two brothers were coaching as well in the NFL. He's very community oriented and very university minded. He's all about Black Lives Matter, community service, giving back his salary to the university. And he's very much dedicated to helping those that are less fortunate get the justice they deserve. He went and spoke at Congress in 2017 about the fact that he is for the less fortunate. He really wants to help those that do not have a lot get the justice they deserve. And Obama highlighted him as being one of the first college football coaches to have his students and his players march in the Black Lives Matter marches in Detroit when George Floyd was murdered. So he's been very much about, socially minded things and the less fortunate. He has 6 kids. He's a devout Roman Catholic. And he's done charity work all over the country, most recently in Peru. And little do people know, him and his brother faced in the Super Bowl in 2013. So, and I'm excited to see what happens with Coach Harbaugh this season. We've got a lot of excitement brewing in Ann Arbor. We are expected to be a very good team this year. He's got 2 quarterbacks that we'll see what happens with. As right now, Cade McNamara should be our starter, but in Harbaugh, I trust. I'm proud that he's my coach. I know he flirted with the Vikings of all teams in the offseason, but I was happy when he announced he was coming back, and I just love and adore that man. So there's Jim Harbaugh, or as we call it, and Harbaugh. And we trust our man in the khakis because we love him.
And Arball. Wow, this is, oh my goodness.
Harbaugh.
Oh my goodness. Yes, Kat. It's turning into a Michigan show, but it's all right. I got what can ward off evil spirits. Go green, baby. Go white. Let's go.
Without maize and blue, there'd be no green.
Oh my goodness! I don't know why I'm wearing anything from Michigan because, as you know, my Tar Heels took care of that. Let's go! It's football season, baby. We're back. Look, ladies and gentlemen, we have about 6 minutes left until the games get started. We know you are excited. We want to go ahead and get you off here, but before we do that, thank you so much for that, Kate. More than I ever knew about your coach.
You've got to know about my coach because he's the man.
Oh my goodness. All right. I cannot confirm or deny how I feel about him. I'm just going to keep moving. I keep moving for the best of the show. All right, yo, we got to move on to the very end. You know how we are. We're tough. We're rugged. We're gutsy. And we're going for 2. Yeah, buddy, we are at the end. We are going for 2. I'm going to start, and then I'm going to send it to my guy, Collin. College football is back, ladies and gentlemen. In less than 10 minutes, we will be getting into the very first games, Western Kentucky versus Austin P. Tune in, even if you don't know anybody on them, because college football is back, and you just watch it. Okay? Whatever you do, if that means going to get some brews, that means getting some dogs and grilling and steaks and burgers, whatever you got to do. If that means eating tofu, I don't care. Watch football. It's back because just as quickly as it's here, February is right around the corner. And I know that's sacrilegious on today, but I have to say it. I'm so excited. Like I can't even, I'm just, woo. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it. So, yo, college football is back. Let's have a great season, man. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. My guy, Collin P from the DMV, man, going for 2. What you got, baby?
Man, I can't echo that enough, man. I mean, even after winning that national championship last year, man, it's kind of been not necessarily a hangover, but I'm ready to get it started again. Will we be better? You know what they say? It's better than 1 crawfish dinner. There's 2 crawfish dinner. So, you know, I'm ready to get back there and give us a chance to, you know, try to make it 2. But like you said, any of the games on it just, and, you know, in my mind, when you see football on TV, this when fall was coming, the leaves are turning, and I'm a fall guy. I love the season fall. You know, a little bit cool, but that's when football it hits. It just hits a little bit different, you know. I'm as excited as you are, dude. I'll be watching a bunch of games today too. So I can't wait.
And if you don't mind, your voice, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about my guy's accent. Your accent is like fall. It's like it's getting cold outside. I need something warm to drink. My guy, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, again, appreciate y'all having me on the show. For real.
Thank you for coming on, Collin.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Believe it. My dear Kate, on the 4-year anniversary of kicking cancer's butt. Talk to us, man. You're going for 2. What you got, babe?
I am so excited for college football. I can just hear like Kenny Chesney's The Boys of Fall song playing in the background.
Let's go.
And I can just can't wait to hear like the pounding of helmets, the pounding of pads, the gridiron, on any given Saturday, any team can be at the top and fall to the bottom.
Absolutely.
I love to see, like I said at the beginning, that top 25, how that shakes up, how those bubble teams start creeping in, and your team is on the bubble. So we'll see if
who are you talking about? I know you ain't. Okay.
I said it.
See that? See how? So that's what happens on this show. you talk about my team, you get the axe. All right.
I think you got too much power, Sean. I think you got too much power.
I got too much power in these fingers here.
I'm excited for college game days, seeing what mascot head Lee Corso decides to put on for that day, seeing all the boys back, the college atmosphere, the students, just all of it. So my going for 2 is college football is back, baby.
Woo! Yo, hey, real quick, before we get off the show, I'm going to run down the games that I want us all to give our picks. Who do we think is winning? We're going to start doing this at the end of each show, giving our picks of what do we think is going to happen. Now, we're not going to be able to do it once it really gets into deep football and there's like 50, 60 games. We'll pick a good 10 or 15 that we'll just kind of go through and we'll dive into like that. But we're going to go ahead and start with it. Collin, coming to you. Western Kentucky, Austin P.
Western Kentucky.
Western Kentucky, Kate.
Western Kentucky.
I'm with you on that. Kate, I'm coming to you. Nebraska versus Northwestern.
Since his job's on the line, I'm saying Nebraska all the way.
Ooh, I can dig it. I'm going to go Northwestern. I think they're going to shock some people. What are you thinking, Collin?
I'm with you, Sean. I go Northwestern as well. I think they will shock some people. Yep, Northwestern.
Okay. Here we go. The third game, UNLV and Idaho State. Our dear friend Katie said at one point there was a game that was 80-8.
Yep.
So I don't think I can go for the team that had 8. I'm going to go UNLV. Collin P, what you got, man?
That's hard. Yeah. I have to go with UNLV as well. Yep. I'll take them to the win.
And I'm going to take the Rebels too.
There we go. Next at the 4:00 game, the first of the 4:00 is UConn versus Utah State. Collin, what you got, man?
Utah State.
Yep.
Utah State.
Yep, I'm with it. UConn's a basketball school, in my opinion. Starting with you, staying in your conference, Illinois versus Wyoming. Kate, what do you think?
Illinois. They have to win this game. They have a lot on the line right now in the Big Ten. They had such a crappy season last year.
Yeah.
They need to prove themselves. So I'm hoping Illinois pulls it out.
I can dig it. I'm gonna go Illinois, and the only reason is because Xavier Holiday, he transferred out, and you talked to us about that last week. And it was their offense. So I'm gonna go Illinois, but it's really a toss up for me. What do you think, Collin?
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going Illinois too. I'll go make it 3. Make a trifecta on Illinois.
Let's get it. And the 5:00 game, FSU, our guy Ben Cornett's Seminoles are playing Duquesne, Florida State. How much think? I'm not even gonna try to reach. I'm just Florida State.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. Florida State.
Florida State has to win it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. For Norvell's job. I mean,
yeah,
can't afford to lose that one. Nevada, New Mexico State. Collin, what you think?
I'm going to New Mexico State. So Nevada's got a lot of new guys there. So.
Woo. Okay. Kate, what you think?
I'm with Collin on this one. Too much transition going on at Nevada.
That makes 3. I talked about him last week. I don't know the pieces that they brought back, and we've seen how many yards and everything that was taken away, and that's in the NFL right now. So I got New Mexico State. We'll see how that plays. And as far as the night games, Kate, I'm starting with you. Charlotte, FAU.
I got Charlotte.
You got Charlotte. I got Charlotte.
I'm going against the grain. I got FAU.
Woo! I was thinking that because it is at Florida Atlantic, but yeah, we'll see. I like that. Okay, we'll see. I'll speak for everybody. North Carolina over FAMU. If anybody wants to get kicked off the show, you can say the other.
Oh my gosh!
You're right.
I will say Tar Heels, baby.
Yeah, I mean, look, we know FAMU that they're not. There's 20 guys that aren't even eligible to play, so
no,
not expecting much from them. North Texas and UTEP, Collin.
This one's a toss up for me. I mean, I'm gonna go North Texas. Actually, I'm gonna go North Texas.
Yeah. Okay, Kate, what do you think?
I'm going UTEP.
UTEP. Really a toss up.
It is. I'm giving home field advantage.
I like that.
I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna go home field because I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you on this one. Yeah. And Collin P from the DMV, straight out of the SEC. Hey. Vanderbilt versus Hawaii. Who you got?
I think Vandy's gonna get that first win of the season.
Okay.
I think they're gonna win that one.
Kate, what you think?
I'm going Hawaii.
Going Hawaii. I got Vandy, man. Mike Wright. They got some returning guys, and I'm buying in to what.
I'm gonna watch for the simple fact of that tall receiver they got. That's so much taller than everybody else. I want to see him on the field with the rest of those guys.
Just put your hands up. Just put your hands up.
Put it where I can catch it.
All right. I definitely want to see that. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are our picks for week 0 in college football. Where I am right now, it is 12:03. That means the Western Kentucky game is on as we speak. We have to let you go. Snap, just give me a new one to add to the list of titles, right? Collin P from the SEC. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. So, hey, we are gonna go ahead and leave you guys here. Enjoy your day. Can we give a special shout out to my guy over here, Mr. Collin P. Thank you so much for joining us. There might be a spot next week because Kate, I know you got a
I got my mom's birthday celebration next
Shout
Saturday.
out to your mom. Happy birthday to your mom.
Absolutely.
She's gonna be 73 years old.
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
I can dig it. So
So-
shout out to her.
I gotta put family first. I'm sorry, gentlemen.
Oh, you are good. You are
Yeah.
absolutely good. We completely understand. So, Collin P, if you are available, the seat is there. We'll keep it warm for you.
All right.
You can definitely come back to the true week 1 of college football. But look, ladies and gentlemen, this is what Let's Talk College Football. The games are starting. We've been on here for 2 hours. We appreciate you being here with us. But look, my producer's telling me it's time for me to go. So, hey, it's a Let's Talk Football production, baby. See you next time.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. The
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.